What quality has mattered most in the moments that leadership has felt the hardest?
I think the quality that's mattered most to me in leadership, especially at Zinc, where marketing is a really, really new function. We've grown exponentially over the last 18 months and we've got incredibly high growth targets. I think the most important quality for me as a leader has been to be honest with my team. I love the fact that they know when they speak to me about things, I'll give them like an honest, direct answer, even when it feels like it's going to be really, really difficult.
I think clarity and empathy. I think it's really important to be clear and direct, but also operate from a place of compassion and empathy. One of the things that I like to remember is a quote from Maya Angelou, actually. It's, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I think it's so true in that you're always going to have to deal with things that aren't always the easiest. You're going to have to deal with hard conversations, but navigating that with compassion and kindness will be key.
I think having grit, knowing that you're going to stumble. We're all humans. It's part of the process. But it's the fact that that's part of life. That's part of the experience. You got to get yourself back up. It's cheesy, but I love that line that's basically talking about, like, it's not how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit, get up, and keep going. And so that's something that has been impactful for me.
Self-trust has been really important during this period, but also being open to other perspectives, to invite feedback. Leadership can be very isolating, and you need to be able to believe in yourself while still being vulnerable, to ask for help and ask for other people's opinion. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's wisdom. And with the help of others, you can only grow. I think everyone has something to teach and to learn.
So I think the hardest times are like kind of often the most emotional times when people are under a lot of pressure. And I think the thing that's most helpful in that situation is working really, really hard to understand other people's perspectives within that. So even if you have a disagreement with someone on something, if you can understand their perspective, it means you can tackle it in a much more kind of tactical way. So I think just really, really working it hard to understand why someone is thinking or feeling the way that they're feeling.
What has built your confidence as a leader over time?
My confidence was built by seeing the results of my hard work and my persistence, even when others couldn't see it. I think, especially as women, we often downplay our achievements, and it's important that we believe in every single win that we have.
I think the thing that builds my confidence as a leader at the moment is feedback from my team. So not just my direct reports, but their direct reports. I think, like I said earlier, a big value of mine is honesty, and it's having that open, honest feedback like loop, not just me to them, but also them to me. So when I hear that I've helped someone navigate a new situation, I've helped them do a piece of work that they've never done before, or I've helped them grow and develop as an individual contributor, that's what really gives me confidence that I'm doing the right thing by the team.
I think the best thing for building confidence has actually just been getting reps in. So every time there's been a tricky situation that you've had to handle, just getting through that situation gives you so much more confidence. So effectively, anytime something comes up that's tricky and you might dread doing, kind of like stepping up and into it has made such a difference for building confidence.
Great question. I think laying out goals, reflecting on those goals, and also kind of having faith in yourself, and surrounding yourself with people that support you, even when you don't feel confident. As much as I like to think that I wake up every morning and I feel confident, that's not always the case. So for me, it's having people that lift me up. It's having something that I can look back to help build me up in those moments where it doesn't come naturally.
It might sound cliche, but I'd say my biggest builder of confidence has been my journey with motherhood. It's so multifaceted, juggling the invisible load, navigating losses, but I also think birthing my babies at home and working full time and navigating all of that nuance has really anchored me in my own self-belief and confidence. I also find that when I'm not really feeling it or I have imposter syndrome creep in, I like to look back at my achievements because that grounds me in the proof that I need in my own ability. So I think it's a combination of the two that really help drive me forward as a leader. What do you wish someone had told you before you stepped into leadership?
I think, especially for me, when I first started, something that would have been really good advice is know which hills you want to die on. So I think especially when you're kind of like a young leader, you can often go two ways. So one way being that you can kind of easily be rolled and someone can kind of convince you into anything and you're not holding on to those opinions that really matter. And then the other side of that is like stepping into new leadership and wanting to make a mark. And sometimes you can stamp that too hard and every conversation can turn into a hill. So I think stepping back, working out what really matters to you, to your role, whatever it is, and then, really going hard on those opinions would be what I'd say.
Leadership is a skill, just like any other, and you need to learn it. And sometimes that learning curve is going to be steep. And that doesn't mean that you weren't meant to be a leader. It just means that maybe you need to spend more time learning it. I think that we forget that, everything in life you have to learn, right? And sometimes things are just harder. You don't pick it up as easy. And I know that I sometimes find leadership, very isolating, and it requires me to think differently than maybe my initial approach. And that's because I'm not just thinking about myself, right? I'm thinking about people, I'm thinking about a team. And that's not something that I want to do rashly. It's something that I want to make sure I'm doing thoughtfully because the people deserve that thoughtful touch. So give yourself grace. You'll learn it, and it'll be okay.
I think, especially in my early days, it would be that you don't need to lean into your masculine to be a good leader, and that there is something uniquely powerful in being authentic to who you are. And that vulnerability can sometimes unlock your greatest successes. I think as well, it's the knowing and understanding that you're never going to have all of the answers, and that's okay.
Before I stepped into leadership, I wish someone would have told me that it's so important to understand how everybody in your team works and what their tells when they're stressed are. So one of the things we do in marketing is in everyone's onboarding week, they do the 16 personalities quiz. And I keep a big log of all of them and what that means when they're stressed, how that means they show up as a co-worker, how it shows up, how they show up as managers, how they show up as individual contributors. Then if I feel like they're slightly off or there's something bothering them, I can just go and grab them directly, take them for a coffee, take them to the pub, go for a walk with them and try and understand what's going wrong so I can help them.
Don't doubt yourself. Leadership can be daunting and people will question you, but don't allow other people's doubts to become your own.